Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to my first official poker vlog. My name's Jackson Byrne and I live in Perth, Australia, and I play poker semi-professionally. So what you can expect from these vlogs is just me traveling around Perth, hitting the different pub games, tournaments, cash, and I'll be bringing you guys on the table with me, so seeing the cards, seeing the chips, sort of having the same view as I would, and then I'll just be breaking down some hands and stuff like that. Also, we'll be going to the Crown Casino, actually in their car park now. But when I go in there, I can't bring any recording devices in or anything like that. But I'll just I'll go get a beer after and stuff like that, and then I'll break down some hands and hopefully have some graphics going on and stuff like that, so it's a bit easier to see what's going on. So I actually fly out to the mines tomorrow. That's the other half of my income, and I thought I'd break the hands down there, just because I thought that would be a bit interesting, taking you guys on the plane, etc. But yeah, I better get out of this car. I'm actually sweating my dot in here, absolute hot box, not the good kind. But yeah, alright, let's go book a win, eh? Hey guys, what's going on once again? So as you can see, we've arrived at the mines and we've just finished our first shift, and I got some good news and some bad news. Good news is that it is Australia Day, but bad news is that I'm stuck here for Australia Day. But at least I got some beers, as you can see. They're going down beautifully. But let's have a quick talk about our last session on Thursday at the Cass. Let's jump into it. Alrighty guys, so at the Cass we're playing 1-3 blinds with the max being 300. So we buy in for the max, we buy in for 3. And literally the first hand we get dealt, first hand of the vlog, first hand of the night, it's pocket aces. That's something that has literally never happened before in all my time playing, is get aces the first hand you sit down. But anyways, we get aces, and all I'm thinking is don't go broke on the first hand. But something even worse happened. So there's an under the gun limp, and then we're in the under the gun +1, and we make it 15, and it folds around on the button, and he folds, small blind folds, big blind folds, and surely the limper is going to call it on. Limp folds. But boy, was I wrong. He immediately snap folds, and we take that huge $7 pot. So this next one, the undergun +2 makes it $10. He gets 3 callers, and I'm in the big with 5-7 of clubs, and I just flat. So the flop comes 2-3 jack with 2 clubs. The original raiser makes it 15, gets 1 caller, and I call. The turn is another 2. I check to the raiser. He makes it 15. The player calls again, and I just flat. I can raise here, but just because I'm getting such a good price, I decide to just call. River is a 6 clubs. I lead for 45, as it's most likely going to check through. But unfortunately, both players fold anyways. So with this hand, it's a strutted pot. The hijack, button, small blind, all flat. I squeeze in the big blind to $40, hoping to take it down with king jack off. Unfortunately, the straddle calls, and so does the button. The flop comes King Jack 7, 2 diamonds, so a very fortunate flop. I bet 80. The struggle goes all in for 140. I snap. He's got Ace King, and it bricks out. So we get quite lucky with that flop. So next, the under the gun raises to 13. I flat in under the gun +2 with pocket 2s. The cutoff calls, and the flop comes 3-3-3. Under the gun bets 15. I flat, and the cutoff flats. The turn is a 2, so we get set, but it means absolutely nothing as we have 3s full of deuces. Under the gun checks. I bet 60. Cutoff calls. So I'm putting him on 5s through the 10s. So I'm going to have to give up on basically all rivers here, as I don't believe I'm going to be able to get him to lay down his hand. But the river's an ace, and I can just represent this card pretty hard. I also can have a 3, even though that's quite unlikely. The player has around 200 behind, and I put them all in. He thinks for a little, then folds. Later he tells me he had 7s. So my read was right, and happy with how I played that one. So far it's going very well. We have a pretty big stack with only one other player having a big stack on the table. But unfortunately this hand doesn't exactly go to plan. The under the gun +2 raises to 15, gets 2 callers, and I squeeze once again, this time with King Queen off in the big blind to $60. And I'm not a huge fan of this sizing at all. I feel I should have made it at least 70, between 70 and 80. And because of the sizing I've chosen, unfortunately all 3 players call. And that's exactly what we did not want. We did not want to inflate the pot with King Queen off in the big blind. But anyways, the flop comes Jack 6-8, all spades. And we've got the King of Spades. I bet 130, hoping to take it down here, but I get one caller who is the big stack. The turn is a 3 of spades, so we've just made our king high flush. I check and he checks, so once he checks this turn, I'm pretty confident I have the best hand. The river's a brick, and I bet 225, and I got roughly 300 behind me. He jams all in, and I'm not happy at all, absolutely steaming. I'm pretty confident I'm beat at this point, and I don't see what bluffs this player can have. I fold face up after a minute of thinking or so, and he says, I don't know how you can fold that. I know this player pretty well, and he puts me out of my misery and shows us ace-5 of spades. So he actually flopped the nut flush. So we make a good fold there on the river, and not long after we leave, and we're about $30 up. Alright guys, so that completes it for all the main pots that went down that night. We didn't get a big win, but that's alright. We're not in it for the short run, in it for the long run. And the long run means we just trying to play our best possible game and make as few mistakes as possible. That session, I made a couple mistakes. It's going to happen. Very rarely do I play a session without making a single mistake. But hey, that's part of the game. It's part of learning. Part of learning and becoming a better player, and that's what I'm all about. The results will follow. Yes, losses just are part of the game. You guys will see that, and yeah. But I look forward to seeing you back in Perth and seeing you on the table. See you then. Alright guys, we're back, and we've just arrived at a pub game. We're just going to play the $100 tournament, but we're pretty much just going to be waiting until we can jump on those cash tables. That's the exciting stuff. Blinds will be 1-3, and yeah, it should go well. It's pretty easy field here, but still anything can happen. Alright, let's see how it goes. So the first hand we get is ace queen of diamonds from under the gun. We make it 15. It folds all the way to the big blind, who calls. Flop comes 5, 6, 7, no diamonds. This sort of flop is a lot better for the big blind's range versus my under the gun range. So when he checks, we check behind. The turn is a 4. He checks once again. I see no merit in betting, so I check again. River's a jack, and he bets 30, and we fold pretty quickly. He then turns over pocket 8s for a 8 high straight. Not long after, we pick up 3 4 spades in the big blind. There's been a raise to $10 from early position with 2 callers. I flat in the big. The flop comes 5 6 deuce with the 5 6 spades, so we flopped a straight with a straight flush draw. So I guess you'd say a pretty good flop. I check to the razor, he checks, and it checks around. The turn is an 8. Now we've got to go for value. Start building that pot. I bet 25, only the button calls. The river's a 3, I bet quite small, I bet 30, trying to get a crying call from the button, but he still folds. Here we pick up pocket 9s on the button. There's been 4 limpers and make a raise to 18. This sizing is a bit too small, and 3 of the players call, then the last player to act makes it 56. I definitely wasn't expecting this. It doesn't make much sense at all at this point. I should just jam it all in for about 300 effective, because when I flat, more than likely the other 3 players behind are going to come along, and we don't want to play pocket 9s 5 ways. But I don't jam it, I just call, and what do you know, two of the other 3 players behind call, so 4 of us go to the flop. Flop is quite fortunate for us. It comes A6 deuce, 2 spades. It checks to the raiser, who makes it 125. I have 287 behind, so I have no choice but to jam it all in. He tanks for a little, then makes the call with Jack 9 spades. It bricks out, and we take that $800 pot. Once we bust from the tournament, there's not much time left until the pub closes, so we decide to play some PLO. Here we pick up Queen's Ace-10. It has been limped around to us. This is a mediocre hand for Omaha, as we have no 2 of the same suit. Still worthy of a raise, I believe, so we pot it to 14. 4 players call, and we see a flop of 7-7-8, 2 clubs. I check, and it checks around. Then we absolutely drill the turn to Queen, giving us top boat. I bet 50, get 1 caller, turn is a 6 of clubs, putting a flush up there. Great card for us, as our opponent most likely just made his flush. We bet him all in for 125. He quickly calls, we show our full house, and he shows us 6-9 for a straight. So quite fortunate there, as wouldn't normally get paid on those 2 streets from a regular player. But this guy clearly was a pretty big fish in Omaha. Yeah, go for it, man. Don't wait for me, man. You're the boss. So this is the last hand of the night. It's 4-handed with a $5 straddle. We pick up Jack 10, 7-9 with 3 clubs. The button pots it to 18 and everyone calls. The flop comes Jack 8-4 with 2 clubs. So I've got a flush draw and a straight draw with top pair. I check and everyone checks behind. The turn is an ace. It checks to the button, who pots it to 72. I call and the other 2 players fold. The river comes a 5 of clubs. I check and he checks behind. My flush is good and he shows us aces for a turn set. Alright guys, that was a good session. We made $850 all up. We played the tournament for like 3 hours and busted, but we didn't really care about that, but that cost us 100. Then we jumped onto the cash for a 30-minute break during the tournament, doubled up there, so it was $300. Went back to the tournament, busted like I said, and played a little bit more Texas. 425 profit total for the Texas, and then we jumped over to the PLO for a little bit, and we made exactly 425 again on the PLO. So all up a great session. That finished at 8, so we bounced to the next game. We're at Shark Poker now. Let's see if we can run it up again. Alright, see you at the tables. Alright guys, so as you can tell, we are no longer at the poker table. Now I'm actually back at my house. Yeah, unfortunately there was no cash table running. There was a little tournament going on, but no, we definitely didn't feel like playing that. But not to worry, we definitely had a very profitable day. So that's always good. It's always good coming out on top. But yeah, if you guys had any questions or anything like that, just feel free to drop a couple of comments. Any questions about the rules? I know I threw 2 games at you guys in this video, PLO and Texas. So I'm sure a couple of you might be a bit confused about a couple of things and stuff like that. So just feel free to drop a comment and stuff like that, and I'll 100% get back to you. Also, another thing I just want to clarify is that I by no means believe that I am the best player in Perth. I am definitely very far off that title. But being only 19, I definitely feel like I've got a lot of talent behind me with this game, and I definitely want to see it out. And just one last thing before I go, this vlog's just not going to be just your standard poker vlog. It's just going to be sort of consisting of what's going on in my life. So whenever there's like some holidays or camping trips, I'll take you guys along. Gonna try hopefully get some new gear in the next month or so. Have some GoPros and stuff like that, and yeah, take you guys on the adventure and break down the hands wherever I am. If I'm overseas or in the bush, you know, whatever, wherever I am, I'll try to bring you guys along with me and share the experience. Isn't that right, Lexi? Isn't that right? But yeah, that about wraps up this entire vlog. Right? See you guys next time.
Yeah, I've been feeling good, I've been feeling just fine. I've been making hits since I was like 9. Got these labels talking, I don't follow through with signs. Unless it's heads down, hands up to the sky. Yeah, run it up, and decline. I might have